G'day everyone, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be doing Asia tips for the beginner tips series. And yeah, hope you enjoy, hope you learn something, and let's just get straight into it. So let's start off in Israel. Israel is pretty distinctive. First off, they have yellow license plates with the blue strip on the left side. They might look similar to the plates of the Netherlands or Luxembourg, but you can obviously tell we have like palm trees and the architecture. It doesn't look particularly European, and we know this is not Europe. So we can tell that Israel has yellow plates on literally all their cars with the blue strip. And this stop sign is unique to Israel with the hand. That is very, very unique. You will not find that anywhere else in the world. Israel also have Gen 4 camera, this bright quality camera. It can also have Gen 3 with the black car long antenna, like Palestine can as well, or the West Bank. And yeah, these kind of like metal kind of poles are found pretty common in Israel, Palestine as well. And yeah, that's probably all I'm going to say there. Also, there actually is the language they speak here is Hebrew. So if you see a bit of, is there any Hebrew text in this one? I don't believe there is, but Hebrew is the language they speak in Israel. We move on to Palestine. Palestine only has the Gen 3 with the black car, sometimes with this little thing, sometimes with the long antenna. And you'll find more white plates in Israel, of course. Sorry, in Palestine. Of course, you can still find yellow plates, but more of the plates will be white. But some yellow ones are visible. Here we have Arabic text, which they use in Palestine more often than Hebrew. Most of the stuff around here is Arabic, so it's probably more likely to be in Palestine, the West Bank. But you can see mixes of Hebrew here, and it looks quite similar to Israel. But in GeoGuessr country streaks, they're counted as one country, but it's still good to know the difference between the two. We'll come back to trackers like Lebanon, so we'll move on to Jordan. Jordan is very distinctive as well. Another thing to mention about all these countries, Israel, Palestine, Jordan, Qatar and UAE as well later on, they all use these yellow outside lines, so sometimes these outside lines of the road will be yellow. There should be yellow ones here too, but usually they have white middle lines and then yellow outer lines. That is very common in Middle East and in Southern Africa as well. And usually in Jordan you'll have a black Google car driving about. That's all the car they'll have, that's all the time. And that's a bit different from Israel and Palestine, where they have a long antenna on the car instead. And only Gen 3 coverage in Jordan, no Gen 4. This is an Amman taxi, the yellow and green one, so that's a good one to know. The language they use is Arabic. The domain is jo.jo. And yeah, it looks kind of similar to Israel and Palestine. And yeah, these curves are pretty common to see in Jordan as well. Right, let's move to, let's go to Qatar. So in Qatar, we are in unofficial coverage. I'm sorry about this. Let's get this out of unofficial coverage. I don't know what's happened here. Here we go. Okay, so we're out of, so this is Qatar for you. You have these signs that have this English and Arabic translation. You have all Gen 4 coverage, there's no Gen 3, all just Gen 4, bright quality coverage. The plates can be either short or long, sometimes having like a little like reddish burgundy strip on the left side. This is the car you'll find here with an antenna, and the rest of the car is mainly blurred out. And yeah, this is just Doha, the city skyline over there in the distance. And yeah, these are the license plates. See, you can see red strips there, red strip there, no red strip there, but the plates can be a bit weird in Qatar. But yeah, this is just a very typical Qataris location, is the way you say it, I think. And this is a rural location in Qatar. We're literally in the middle of the desert. Here's a bit of a different one with a longer antenna on the car. And yeah, you can find all sorts of road lines in Qatar. These ones are, I think, are road specific, but usually you just have yellow outside lines and white middle lines. Some bollards can sometimes be seen as well in Qatar, but yeah, this is just classic desert landscape. Okay, let's go to UAE. So in UAE, you also have Gen 4 cam with some of the blurred out car. These are typical signs with the English and Arabic translations. These highway numbers are only UAE, Dubai, obviously a big city in the UAE. Again, yellow outside lines, white middle lines, or Middle Eastern countries have this. And yeah, the plates can be either short or a bit longer, so they're a bit inconsistent in UAE. Sometimes you have green plates as well, actually. So this is a very typical Gen 4 UAE location. Here's a Gen 3 UAE location. We're just in the middle of the desert. That's the kind of vibe you get when you're in the UAE. And sorry about that again. And the signs sometimes will have black and white signposts, which is pretty common to see in all the world. Of Peru, UAE, Malaysia, and Sri Lanka, I'd say, countries that have it quite often. So, but yeah, if you're in a desert place and you have it, you're probably going to be in United Arab Emirates. And as I said, in Jordan, you'll have the black Google car, whereas in UAE, the Google car will either be white, like this one, or it won't be visible at all. So yeah, that's another good thing to know. And yeah, this looks very deserty in general. Right, so that's going to be Middle East done now. Let's move on to Central Asia. Let's go to let's go to Kyrgyzstan. Let's visit Kyrgyzstan. So Kyrgyzstan, I think a lot of people can recognize Kyrgyzstan. They use Cyrillic, which is a good thing to know. Obviously, a lot of other places use Cyrillic, but in Asia, only a couple of places do, like Kyrgyzstan, Mongolia. Their license plates are like white with a red strip on the left side. These are Kyrgyz and Albanian plates only. Albania also has this, as you remember from the Europe video. But if you're in Asia, red strip, send Kyrgyzstan. As all the plates kind of do have these red strips. And the Google car, it has roof racks and these side mirrors visible as well. And when you're in a big city, you're probably just going to be in, as it says here, Bishkek. So that's good to know too. Right, let's move to Mongolia. Mongolia is a country with some very diverse landscapes. Let's go to this location first, actually. So Mongolia can have short license plates like this, and it can also have the long versions like that one there. And they won't have this red strip, so that's how you could tell it apart from somewhere like Kyrgyzstan, for example. And the Google car, we always have, most of the time we'll have this like camping equipment on the top with a snorkel sometimes, and roof racks as well. Very distinctive Mongolian car. Only Gen 3 as well at the moment, but they may get some Gen 4 soon. Kyrgyzstan only has Gen 3 as well, so that's good to know. And yeah, this is a very typical Ulaanbaatar building, very famous one. And as I said, they also use Cyrillic as well, so there's some pretty good clues for Mongolia. And here's another location in Mongolia. Looks like this one, but just in the middle of the snow with a sort of similar but different Google car. These are Mongolian bollards. They look like bowling pins and they have the red stripes on it. These are very typical Mongolian bollards. So, yeah. Okay, let's go to India. So, India, as most of you know, is pretty distinct. They have this like what we call kind of crap cam, and it's this weird kind of quality cam. It's sort of like a mix of Gen 4 and Gen 1 or something like that. And yeah, it's this camera that got first done in India, but there's now some other countries like Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Cambodia, Ecuador has it too. But yeah, it's mainly in India most of the time. Oh, and Nigeria as well. But yeah, ways you can tell you're in India is sometimes you have a bit of car matter like this big car sticking out. Obviously the camera quality. These tuk-tuks, these yellow and green ones, these are found in India, more in northern India. Lots of languages used, like we have Hindi here, we got English, we got a bit of Punjabi, and some Urdu. So yeah, these kind of all these languages is a good clue for India. As we see, we're in New Delhi. And yeah, this is just, they use concrete poles in India as well, that's a good thing to know. And yeah, that's all I've got to say about this one. And they drive on the left side as well, whereas in other countries we've mentioned so far, every single one drives on the right. Or India, along with other southern Asian countries, drive on the left. Likewise, like Bhutan. Bhutan also drives on the left side, and they have sorry about this one. Let's just, I've got to relocate this one, because in Bhutan, this is some unofficial coverage, but in Bhutan is a very distinctive place. They have very distinctive architecture like this one, and they use red plates on their license plates. They also, the coverage is kind of sparse in Bhutan. There's not a crazy amount of coverage kicking about the place. But I'm just trying to get out of this unofficial coverage because it's literally everywhere. And yeah, just trying to, because as you can see, Bhutan's a very small country, very mountainous country as well. Well, just mountains everywhere. I think about 98% of the place is covered in mountains, which is absolutely crazy to think about, as it's just so mountainous and so much around. And yeah, hang on, I'll go into, I know what to do. So we're in the capital here, Thimphu, as an example. We'll go open it up here and have a little more of an explore around the place. As we can go here, have a bit more of a look around, and notice that a lot of this coverage in Bhutan was actually overwritten. That's why we have all this unofficial rubbish going on here. And if we go somewhere like here, we can see that most of the coverage here is overwritten. Right, sorry for the inconvenience, but we eventually found an official coverage. So in Bhutan, you usually have a silver Google car, only Gen 3 coverage. As I said, the license plates are red on most of the cars. Some of the commercial ones can have yellow plates, but most of the ones will be red. They have this very distinctive wooden architecture, these kind of wooden style houses. This is also very Bhutanese, and it's also very mountainous in Bhutan. So this is all very good clues that you are going to be in this mountainous country. And they drive on the left as well. So let's move to Bangladesh. So Bangladesh has Gen 3, 4 and the crap can. They drive on the left side. They have this Bengali script that kind of looks like Hindi, but it's in Gen 4, so it's going to be Bangladesh. Also, yeah, we have some tuk-tuks about the place, at least motorbikes, and yeah, it can be a bit polluted in the air as well. So these are all good clues for Bangladesh. And here is another example of a Bangladesh location. This time we have some of those tuk-tuks, and we have more of these kind of posters. These political posters are a lot around the place. So yeah, this is all good clues for Bangladesh. And now let's move to Sri Lanka. So in Sri Lanka, they have Gen 3 and 4. The Gen 4 is low cam, but the Gen 3 is not. Gen 4 low cam is found here. We drive on the left side. We have yellow short back plates and white front plates. That's good for Sri Lanka. They have this circular Sinhala language, which is, yeah, it's called Sinhala. This is a script you find in Sri Lanka. You can also find some Tamil there as well. I believe this is Tamil, but maybe it's not. Oh, this is a bit of Tamil here. Yeah, this is Sinhala, a bit different. But these two languages are found in Sri Lanka. Also, these like zigzaggy road lines. This is all pretty Sri Lankan as well. So yeah, a lot of palms around as well. These are all good clues for Sri Lanka. And here is another location in Sri Lanka. This is a crap cam location. As you see, this is also found in Sri Lanka. Black and white signposts, as I said, Peru, Malaysia, Sri Lanka, and UAE. This is a Sri Lankan pole. It has these thick like conductors at the top, and it's concrete with some dots only going up to here. Because as in Thailand and Laos, as we'll find out soon, the dots go all the way down to the ground, whereas the dots here only at the top part. And again, we have that kind of Tamil and Sinhala language. And yeah, that's what I've got to say. Right, next let's go to Thailand. So Thailand has Gen 4 and Gen 3 coverage. They drive on the left side of the road, as you can see here. They use yellow center lines and white. Sorry, yeah, they use yellow center lines and white outer lines. As you see, that's the yellow center and the white sort of outer lines. Their poles, as I said, they have these dots going all the way down. They're concrete and square, like in Sri Lanka. Thai language is this kind of like sort of vertical stuff with little curves on it. Very similar to Lao, but Lao doesn't have Gen 4. And this is Thai language for you. The plates are kind of short-ish and they're kind of white. And yeah, this is a very typical Thai location. Let's go to Laos. So Laos has very, very limited coverage for one thing. There's only coverage in 5 cities: Vientiane, Luang Prabang, Vang Vieng, Savannakhet, and what is it? Paksay. So those are the only 5 cities that have coverage. In Vientiane, you will not have any sort of Google car visible, but you will have all the Laos clues. Like some good Laos clues you have here is it's pretty red soil, yellow plates, driving on the right side, not the left side, so it's different from Thailand. You have yellow plates as well. Curbs, kind of colourful curbs. Similar language, yeah, similar looking language. Same poles, square ones with dots in them. And yeah, these are all good clues for Laos. But in the other cities, Luang Prabang, Vang Vieng, Savannakhet, and Paksay, you will have a Google car visible, a Google car with roof racks visible, which looks like this. It has mirrors, a bit of a body visible, and the 2 roof racks. This car is found in the other 4 cities, and you have all the other common clues like the square poles, the language, the plates, driving right, all these kind of things. And yeah, these are all the good clues for Laos. Let's go to Cambodia. So Cambodia has Gen 3 camera and the crap camera. So for example, this is the crap camera. As you can see, it's this horrible quality stuff. In Cambodia, it looks maybe similar to Thailand sometimes, but they drive on the right side instead of the left. But it's different to Laos. They don't use yellow plates. They just use white plates instead of Laos. They have yellow ones. The Cambodian language is called Khmer. Khmer, I think that's how you say it. It's kind of more squiggly than Thai and Lao. It's sort of got more like little squiggly lines. So that's how I'd say you recognise Khmer. And yeah, the capital Phnom Penh looks like a big city. Has all these kind of features of it, you know. So this is all good clues for Cambodia. And here is a Gen 3 location. We'll have a white car. Usually, sometimes we'll have an antenna on it. Very red soil around the place, white plates, and yeah, these are all. And Angkor beer, another good thing to know, that Angkor beer is only going to be found in Cambodia. So yeah, that's all I have to say. Next, let's go to Malaysia. So Malaysia can be sometimes difficult to tell apart from Indonesia. So how can we tell the difference? Well, first, they both drive on the left side, like we have here. They both sometimes use all white lines, whereas Malaysia usually uses all whites. Indonesia sometimes uses yellow lines in the middle. That's a good clue. Malaysia will have these black stickers on their round poles, and these black stickers are only found on the mainland of Malaysia, so only this part called on the Borneo side won't have the black stickers, whereas the mainland will. Malaysian license plates, this is probably the best view I have, and Indonesian license plates also are black with white text, but in Malaysia you'll have 2 white sections of text, like 2 white blocks like that, with a bit of black in between. Whereas in Indonesia, you'll have 3 white blocks with black in between, because it's just 3 white sections of text. So that's the difference here. You can't really see it there, but it's kind of like, I don't know if you can get a bit closer to any of these, but It's two white pieces of text on a black plate. That's what it is. And this is pretty typical Malaysian signage with these E roads and yellow road numbers. This is all very Malaysian. And yeah, the black and white signposts, as I said, Peru, Malaysia, UAE, and Sri Lanka. That's the only countries in the world where you find this. And yeah, that's all I've got to say about Malaysia. And as we go to Indonesia, you sometimes have a black Gen 4 car, which you don't really have as much in Malaysia. But yeah, you have the black plates here with 1, 2, 3, sort of 3 white sections you have there on the plate, with black in between. That's the Indonesian plate, and you only find that in Indonesia. That's exclusive. Also, Indonesia would have a lot of these tile roofs and metal roofs, and this architecture is a bit different. These pole tops are more Indonesian. Some of the commercial plates will have yellow plates, so that's more Indonesian. A lot of banners everywhere, that's with usually advertising cigarette ads, so that's usually more Indonesian as well. So, yep. Now we go to Singapore, which is right here. If you don't know, Singapore's right there next to Malaysia, independent country. They drive on the left side, like Indonesia and Malaysia. They use black plates, like Indonesia and Malaysia. I think we usually 2 white sections, so more like Malaysia. But the difference is some of their like road lines. Like these double yellow outer lines are only found in a few places in the world. UK and Ireland, as I mentioned, in Europe, Singapore, and also, as we can find out a bit later, Hong Kong as well in China. I haven't seen these double yellow outside lines anywhere else in the entire world, so yeah, it's a good clue. If you have like these black plates, then you're going to be in Singapore. Also, these stop signs, these are Singaporean stop signs. And yeah, these kind of trees with these interesting designs. And Singapore, once you just have a look at it, it's got this very distinct vibe to it once you see it a few times. Also, these are street signs, green ones with the white text. That is a Singaporean street sign with a very distinct font. And yeah, this is all good clues for Singapore. Let's visit the Philippines now. So the Philippines has Gen 3 and 4 camera. Forgot to mention, Singapore can have Gen 2, 3 and 4, but mainly Gen 4. Malaysia mainly has Gen 3 and 4, and Indonesia has Gen 3 and 4. So if you have Gen 2, you could be in Singapore, but any others is always there. But anyway, back to Philippines. Gen 3 and 4 cam. These road lines with the like, yellow ones with the white in the middle, these are Filipino road lines. Don't find them anywhere else in Asia. The greenish plates in Asia are mainly found in Philippines and South Korea sometimes. White plates are pretty common as well. The concrete roads, these roads made of concrete rather than asphalt, are very Filipino, but not always. Sometimes in Thailand, but most commonly in Philippines. Can be in other Asian countries like Indonesia as well. Concrete poles, the round ones, are common in Philippines. Also, you can sometimes have metal ones as well. And yeah, these kind of boxy architecture is also pretty Filipino, I must say, as well. And another location in the Philippines, oops, let me click that. Yeah, this is a Gen 3 location, and in Gen 3 you can have a bunch of Google cars in the Philippines, white ones, black ones. But this one that's white with like a window or something visible, this black window, this is a very exclusive car to the Philippines and not found anywhere else in the entire world. So yeah, that's just why we're going to find this location. And you can also obviously find Gen 3 in the Philippines too. Right, let's move to these places. People don't know, but Hong Kong and Macau actually have coverage, which is something I know. Obviously, I mentioned Hong Kong before. But let's visit Macau first. So Macau is located right here. They were a Portuguese under Portuguese rule for a long time. And so the languages you'd find here would be a bit of Chinese, a bit of Portuguese, like Rua is Portuguese, Chinese, and a bit of English as well. They drive on the left side because of close ties with Hong Kong, so they drive on the left side. Only Gen 2 camera, this whitewashed Gen 2 cam, that's the only coverage they have in Macau. The plates in Macau are black with white text, similar to Singapore, Malaysia, and Indonesia, but this is Gen 2, so this is a bit different. And yeah, this is just looking very Chinese. You obviously have a lot of that language around, and yeah, these are all good clues for Macau. In Hong Kong, though, you can find Gen 2, 3, and 4. So, for example, this is a Gen 4 location. It has a lot of things that resemble the UK, like the yellow back plates and the white front plates. So that's a good clue. Obviously, you have Chinese and English around. And these are Hong Kong taxis, these white cab ones with red bodies. These are Hong Kong specific taxis. Only find them in Hong Kong. So they're absolutely everywhere. And yeah, these are Hong Kong street signs, these ones with black sort of arrow ends and the Chinese and English on the white. Those are Hong Kong street signs. And yeah, it's got a pretty distinct vibe to it. We got, I think we have double yellow lines, but maybe not necessarily here, but they can also be found in Hong Kong as well. And of course, Macau and Hong Kong both drive on the left side, as I just mentioned. Right, let's go to Taiwan. In Taiwan, they speak Chinese, like in Macau and Hong Kong, but they drive on the right side. So that's the main difference you'd have from those from all those places. Taiwan drives on the right. They also commonly use white outer lines and these double yellow middle lines. That's also pretty common to find in Taiwan. But probably one of the most famous clues in GeoGuessr, I think you're about to know what I'm going to say, is the poles. The black and yellow diagonal stripes running all the way down to the ground or the bottom. These are Taiwanese poles. In South Korea, you'd have poles that run like this, but stop about here. They don't go all the way down to the ground. And in Japan, they're vertical and don't go all the way down to the ground. So yeah, that's good to know as well. Obviously Chinese language everywhere. Wouldn't find a lot of English, mainly just Chinese. And yeah, that's probably the good clues I have for Taiwan. Taiwan can also have Gen 2, 3, and 4. That's another good thing to know. Next up, we'll go to South Korea. So South Korea has Gen 3 mainly, sometimes can occasionally have Gen 2. As I said, these are the South Korean poles, similar to Taiwan, but they are black and yellow and don't go all the way to the ground, they stop about here. The Korean language has a lot of vertical lines and circles, one of the most distinctive Asian languages, I have to say so myself. This is very typical Korean script, what's called Hangul. The lines are pretty similar to Taiwan, the double yellow middle lines and the white sort of outer lines. And yeah, you have some yellow plates around, so you have some white plates, and some of the older plates can be green as well, but I don't think we have any green plates here. But yeah, and these kind of spike tops, these are mainly found in Japan and South Korea. These kind of circular poles with pole plates and spike tops. So yeah, these are all good clues for South Korea. And I think we haven't forgotten anything, and we're just going to go to Japan. Japan can have Gen 2, 3, and 4, but mainly Gen 4 with a bit of Gen 3 as well. And it has low camera, which is this where the camera is mounted lower on the ground, like in Switzerland, in Europe. But in Japan, it's obviously very different looking, but also you got this wide blur. It's a bit hard to notice in Gen 4, but you do have this wider blur on the car for privacy reasons. But the camera is similar height to the other cars around, and you just feel a bit lower to the ground. The cars will be very cube shaped and boxy, and sometimes they'll have these yellow square plates. Some of them have white ones, some of them yellow. These are all Japanese style cars and plates. These mirrors are common in Taiwan and Japan, pretty Asian style thing to do. And yeah, these poles, round poles with like plates on them, and like all these electric wires and transformers, these are also all very Japanese. And the language is a bit different. Sometimes people struggle to tell apart Chinese and Japanese, for example. As you can see, we do actually have some Chinese script here because some Japanese stuff is inherited from or derived from Chinese. But the Japanese language itself looks a lot simpler, like these kind of characters here only have like 1 or 2 strokes, whereas Chinese has a lot of strokes, like 5, 6 strokes, much more complicated than, for example, Japanese, which looks a lot simpler. And yeah, that's all I've got to say about this location. And here is another location in Japan. This is a Gen 3 location where the low cam is a bit easier to notice, as it has like this wide blur with bumps in it. Not the same as Gen 2, where you have the halo in the sky and the circular blur. Yeah, and this kind of low with the bumps in it, this is all good clue for low cam Gen 3. And also these kind of poles are all very Japanese too. So now we'll just discuss the trekkers quickly. So let's go back over to Asia. Lebanon has quite a few trekkers around. Here's an example of one of them, just in Beirut around one of their, like, I think universities or something. But they've got tons of trekkers on the coast as well. You can examine that as well. But Lebanon has some coverage. Iraq has very limited coverage. There is this one museum here, and this is the only place in Iraq that actually has coverage. And this is Gen 1 trekker. It's in the middle of the museum pretty much. And if you just go like into somewhere like here, for example, you can see inside the museum. But yeah, this is very rare to get a GeoGuessr. You'll almost never ever get it. But I'm just saying there is Street View there, so always just keep in the back of your mind. Pakistan also has trekkers around Lahore and other places. I think down towards like Karachi as well. This is a famous one, like at a mosque. So yeah, this is pretty. And baggy pants is a good meta for Pakistan. A lot of the people have baggy pants instead of like tighter pants. Nepal has a couple of trekkers around Mount Everest around here. Here's one climbing up the mountains with this guy in front. This is just something you might find in Nepal. The other trekkers are down in the British Indian Ocean Territory. This belongs to the UK. They've got a couple of beach trekkers. I mean, there's just nothing, but it exists. And anything else? That's about what I have for the trekkers in Asia. So yeah guys, thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you did really enjoy. Please leave a like down below if you did. Subscribe for more stuff like this, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.